Hey everyone, I wanted to share with you guys how I do my acrylic press-ons without getting shrinkage and without any bulkiness at the cuticle area. So I'm using Purple Phoenix Intimate Affair, and I'm doing a very, very small beads and keeping them very wet. And of course I'm using a full cover tip, as you can see. Again, I'm keeping my beads very, very small and very wet. I'm starting a little above the tip of the nail, and I put my first bead and I blend it down, and then I blend it back up towards the cuticle area. And then my next bead I put right at the tip just to fill in any that needs to be there, and I just blend it in. Again, very wet beads. I think that's key to no shrinkage. I don't know why. And yes, there's several ways to do this. This is just what works for me. So I thought I would share it with you guys. So my next bead goes right above the last one. And again, I just blend it down, keeping them very small, very wet, like I said. And I just keep doing this until I get close to the cuticle area. Now, once I get close to the cuticle area, I blend it down towards the free edge like normal, and then I turn the nail over, and I'm going to just gently feather it towards the cuticle. Now, with this next bead, this is going to be my cuticle bead. So I put it right there. You don't put it at the cuticle, you do it right above your last one, and you gently tap it into place and blend it down, and then you're going to turn the nail around again and just gently, very gently, feather it to the cuticle. You're going to want hardly no product at all on that cuticle area. You keep it extremely thin, and I'm pretty sure that this is what keeps it from not shrinking, and it also makes it so it's very flush against the cuticle and looks more natural. As you can see, I just need a tiny bit on that one side. You can see it's a little too thin. It didn't quite reach all the way to the end of the nail. So I just added a very teeny tiny amount, put it in the same spot again above it, and then you just gently feather it down. Very gentle. When doing my acrylic press-ons, it's important for me to keep the acrylic thin so I don't have it very bulky. So I'm going to show it again. I skipped the beginning part of putting the acrylic on, and I'm just going to show you the cuticle part here. Again, you just want to keep it very wet, not too wet to where it's running all over the place, but you want it pretty wet, wetter than you normally would. And this is way different than how you would apply it on a real nail. So again, you just very lightly feather it down to the cuticle so that edge is very, very flush. Like I said, hardly any product on that, around that cuticle. And then that's what they all looked like after just application. Again, I kept it very thin. And you can tell around the cuticle it's very, very thin, very flush. So now I'm going to show you how I file it, because I think this is big on too on how my press-ons come out. The first thing I do is flip the nail over, and I get any that is acrylic that is on the inside, and I go around and I perfect my shape. If I have a lot of product that's on the inside of the nail, I will use my nail drill, but for the most part, I only hand file, and I use a 100-180 grit file. So the first thing I do is I file on the top, so I'm going to give myself like a guide to make it flat, just, on the seam of the nail, I guess you could call it. And then I take my file and I hold it at an angle, almost up and down, but more at an angle. And I will blend it down so the sides of the nails, like all around the edges, is the thinnest part. So you're going to try to keep the bulk of the acrylic on the seam or the spine or the middle of the nail. And I do that all the way around it. So first I do it at the tip, and then I turn the nail around and I go flat on the top again, and then at the cuticle and all the way around I go up my angle and just kind of file downwards, like a downwards angle, and try to get it as thin as possible around the entire nail, and keeping my shape and keeping the bulk of the acrylic in the middle. I hope that makes sense. And as you can see, it fits very flush to the cuticle. Perfect. I really hope this makes sense and it helps at least somebody. We were talking about it the other day on how a lot of people have trouble with their nail tips shrinking when they do acrylic. So I wanted to show how I did it. And here's my thumb. Again, it fits perfect against my cuticle. There was no shrinkage or anything. If you have any questions or need me to go over it again or anything particular part in more detail, just let me know and I will be happy to do that for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you bunches. Bye.